All right, we got Jayden here. Questions? Oh,
Hey, Jayden, do you feel, looking back at the game film, that Frank Darby leaving the game for good late in the first quarter really took you guys out of the game plan a lot? And do you think, under the circumstances, you guys actually did pretty well with such a big weapon being on the sidelines?
I mean, losing Frank was a big part of our offense. Experience out there. It's just number one guy. Him going down, but that still gives no excuse of um, how we performed as offense. I feel like we run block very good. There's some things that in the past game that I missed, receivers missed, some O-line missed, but it's things we got to clean up. We can't depend on just one player to be there to change our whole scheme and outlook of everything.
Michelle.
Hey, Jayden, you know what it's like to play as a true freshman. The freshman wide receivers look like they struggled a little bit early, and I know you walked over to Johnny on the sideline and kind of gave him some words of encouragement. What exactly did you say to them, and how do you keep their spirits up when things obviously weren't going well early?
Yeah, I mean, it's your first game, first college game, so I know I experienced it. I know how it is. Like I said, unfortunately for them, my first game was versus Kent State. Their first game was versus USC. So I mean, it's kind of it's a bigger stage, and I just feel like they're just young, and it was just time to grow up. And I seen that they had some of the jitters in them, but other than that, now we're just on to the next week.
Chris.
Hey, Jayden, can you talk about sort of the challenge of kind of feeling the rush and instinctually, like, whether you want to scramble versus trying to hang in and go through progressions when everything's closing in on you, and just what that's like as a quarterback?
I mean, just like you said, it's just based off of instincts. Just looking back at the film, there's time, I could have hung in there a little bit, but there's also times when I knew a situation in football and knew if I can make a play, I'm going to make a play to extend the drive. So it's just instincts at that point.
Michael.
Yeah, Jayden, with the success of the two backs, I mean, I know it touched on obviously a little bit of struggles of the young receivers, but with as explosive as they are, I mean, what kind of dimension did that add to the offense? And I mean, do you see them maybe both being on the field at the same time later on during the season?
Yeah, I mean, that's just something, Coach Hill and them have to do as a staff to maximize their talent. I know we're going to get the passing game going. Just everything clicking at one time. I know it's just a work in progress, new system, new everything. So at this point, it's just moving on to the next week.
Chris.
Jayden, it seemed like Kellen really played well, and Ben Scott also for his first game. How does it feel as a quarterback to kind of see that sort of development happen with those guys in the offensive line in general?
I mean, those guys play their hearts out. Just going out there, first game as Sun Devils, really kind of the first game started. Ben's first game started here. So, they stepped up to the challenge and, they accepted it and they did what they could do.
Michelle.
Jayden, obviously you guys had a really good game with Cal last year. What do you expect out of them after watching their defense on tape? And do you think that it'll help you guys having a game under your belt, whereas they have not played a game?
Yeah, I mean, having our first game under our belt, it's big. Them not playing football, them being out of football for so long, I feel like it's kind of to our advantage of everything. But they're still going to be well coached, physical, so it's going to be a good game.
Gabe.
Jayden, it seemed like there were a couple times Saturday where maybe last year you would have slid, but you tried to get a couple extra yards. Is that just a product of trusting the strength that you've built and the different physical body that you have this year as opposed to last?
Yeah, I mean, last year, there's times where I let some yards out on the field when I scrambled. I put on some more weight, but I'm still smart enough to know when and when not to take a hit. And that's really just the stuff that me and Coach Herm talked about. They knew what I was capable of doing. I told them what I planned on doing this year with my legs more. And then they just said, no, when the journey's over.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.